Hey, buddy. Eyes down here. I mean, eyes up here. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Movies, where you can see all kinds of movie reviews and movie news here on the channel, particularly comedy, horror, and of course, superhero movies. And of course, my favorite of those, Superman. And we've been covering James Gunn's new movie that's going to kickstart the DCU since way back early in the casting process. And now we've made it all the way to the first official trailer. Yeah, we've had a couple of looks previously, but James Gunn said that was the teaser and the sneak peek. This is the first official trailer, and I'm super excited about it and to break it down with you guys here on the channel. If you're into this movie and want to continue following it and into movies like it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Just keep it here locked for all kinds of reviews on those type of movies, and I'll also talk comedy and horror a lot as well here on the channel on JC's Movies. We continue to try and grow things, but with that being said, hit the like button if you're watching the video. Throw your thoughts in the comments on the Superman movie. How are you feeling about it here with this trailer? And with no further ado, let's get into it. Let's start up the reaction, and then we'll go through it and break it down a little bit. All right. And here we go. Beautiful new DC Studios
Are you being
logo.
serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've
the
come
way he
under a lot
shifted
of
into
fire
Superman
for what
right
some
there,
might.
that's nice.
It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense
I
said he
got
was going to
thoughts
look
on
into
that
your
opening
actions.
scene. I'll share more when we
That's
break
funny.
it down momentarily.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
She definitely looks more
No.
like
You're
Lois Lane
seemingly
than some
acting as a
recent incarnation.
representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States
representing
for
anybody.
In the movies,
Except for
anyway.
me.
around the
And,
world.
and, and doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
Ah, that score, man.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices, your actions. That's what makes you.
It's Pa Kent in the trailer.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an
Metamorpho.
it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
Ma Kent as well. That score, man. Ooh.
You have a dog?
All right. July 11th can't get here soon enough. So I have some thoughts, but let's go through. Let's just go break it down first, and then I'll try and share some other thoughts that I have before we wrap up here. But let's go through this. Let's break this thing down a little bit. All right. So first of all, great shot of Metropolis right there. I like that. And I think definitely one thing I noticed in this trailer, official trailer, compared to the other looks that we've gotten in the teaser and the sneak peek, they've cleaned up a good bit of the special effects in a lot of areas. I think right there that, city night right there in Metropolis looks great. course, starting it off with Clark and Lois, I think is a great touch, and particularly when you started off here with this interview, because this tells us multiple things here. We get to see number one, I think that I like here is you get to see kind of David Cornsweet playing, kind of as if he's Clark Kent and then shifting right into Superman right there at that moment, even changing his voice and such. Very much kind of Christopher Reeve-esque. But also, you get to see Lois, of course, doing what she does, being a hard-hitting journalist. But it also tells us that she knows he's Superman. There's no secret identity that she has to figure out throughout the movie or anything like that. I like that take on it. Man of Steel did it in a similar way. She found out, very early on in the movie that he was Superman, and I like that a lot better because we got to give Lois her due. She's Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, right? She wouldn't be able to figure that out. So. And I like the fact of starting with that conversation between them two. It shows us multiple things with, each character. I think it's a great touch right there to start the trailer with that. And let's go back right there to that because I think this is one shot. You see they've improved this. If you go back and look on the previous teaser, someone had a screenshot of it going around even. They added more buildings here to the background of Metropolis to help that out. They had reflections here on the screen, more debris falling. A lot of VFX improvements here in this trailer. And of course, the conversation continues there. And then here's a couple interesting shots that we get here. Now, this has got to be Lex in the Lexo suit, the exoskeleton suit, right? That's what I'm thinking here. Could be, could throw us for a loop or something else. There we see it again there. And I'm guessing that this Lexo suit is probably what had Superman down in the snow in that first teaser that we saw. And I like the passion that he shows here a little bit. I think we see a good bit of personality from Superman in this trailer here, both in that, argument that he's having there with Lois a little bit. Probably he was expecting it to be more of a playful type thing, and she was hitting some hard hitting questions he wasn't expecting. And so you see it there. And then I think you see some quippiness here in some of his interactions while he's Superman as well, which I also liked. But when this score kicks in,
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
and there's some of the quippiness that I'm talking about. But man, when that score sounds great. I love the way that they did John Williams' score and just kind of redid it using some guitar and other stuff in there alongside it. But that's what I'm talking about there with, kind of him having a lot more personality, a little bit more charisma. I really like David Cornsweet's take here in this trailer. It kind of sold me on him a little bit more. I like what he's doing. He's kind of doing his own take, but mixing it with a little bit of some Christopher Reeve. I see some Christopher Reeve in him. Maybe that's just the way of the type of film that they're going for. But also, my only complaint here, if I do, got to point out a negative or two, is that the suit's just not my favorite. I don't mind the trunks. It's not that. I think everything on it looks great, except for I don't really like the lines, the piping on it. And I've never been a fan of the high collar. Kind of has that. Both of those are kind of New 52-esque. They kind of seem like they kind of come from that suit, kind of the added elements of that. And those were just two things that I never really cared for, was the high collar and kind of like the lines, the piping on the suit. I think if it just went, more plain with it without the neckline, it would have been perfect. But it does throw me off a little bit. Not my favorite suit personally, but hey, that's okay. It's growing on me the more I see it, in action. So maybe once the movie comes around, it really won't bother me as much. So we get the James Gunn credit. We get the shot of the fortress coming out, which we've seen in a previous trailer. But we didn't see this in the past. The engineer and Lex coming in. And look at the engineer just coming in here and wrecking some of those automatons or what are they? Automatons, whatever they were, whatever they're called. They're the robots that are in Superman's fortress that we seen in the last teaser. Lex coming in there with some swag. And I don't know if Crypto hit her or she hit Crypto or both. But either way, man, you can't be hitting Crypto out here. PETA's going to come after this movie. Get that shot that we've seen before of them. Then I get a little Pa Kent action, which I love the quote there that he shares in the trailer, which we heard a minute ago. And then we get a shot of Mr. Terrific here with his spheres there that he'll be using. Of course, I've first seen Mr. Terrific in Arrow, and I liked the character there, so excited to see it on the big screen. Eddie Gathegi playing at this time. Nice shot there of Mr. Terrific in action as well. We get Lex. And I think that, you guys know I've complained a ton about Nicholas Hoult. This trailer sold me a little bit on Nicholas Hoult even. That's how much this trailer's gone to sell me on things a little bit. I liked his lines of dialogue, referring to Superman as it instead of he. And, the one close-up shot we'll get here in a second gave me serious Michael Rosenbaum vibes. I'm guessing this is maybe after that fight with Lex that we've seen him, end up hurt at in the first teaser. And here's a nice little Easter egg with Metamorpho with the kryptonite hand. Metamorpho can change into things there, change his hand into elements, changes it into kryptonite. I'm guessing that's how they keeping Superman locked in there, which is a nice touch. And we see him getting bullied a little bit. And this is the best shot of the whole trailer. Right there, coming up with the smoke, the sunlight coming through. You can just see him there through the fog, and that looks really, really good. Some other VFX shots, still you can tell they're still cleaning it up a little bit, as James Gunn said, on some areas, but some areas already look really good, and this one right here looks incredible. Then you get little Lex action. You get some of Mr. Terrific, Hawk Girl, and Guy Gardner there. There's the shot we've seen previously of the young man raising the Superman flag. Then we get a little bit of the engineer and Superman going out of here. And some of the shots of the engineer here are where I think they're still cleaning up some VFX. Not the best looking there, but right here is what I'm talking about with Nicholas Hoult. That gave me some Michael Rosenbaum vibes for some reason, which I think is the best Lex. So if he's giving me those type of vibes, that could be positive. And you guys know I'm not a Nicholas Hoult fan. He's been the one part I'm worried about in this movie, but this trailer sold me on him for the first time. Then we get Ma Kent, of course, telling him that he cleaned his boot, telling Clark that he cleaned his boots. She cleaned his boots, I guess I should say. I like the Green Lantern shot there of the hand coming out and smacking. That's our first look at the Green Lantern in action, really, I guess. We saw it a little bit in that other teaser, but this was a lot better. You could see him hitting a car and a person going flying as well. And get another shot of Hawk Girl. Get a little bit of shot of Clark there, but that's the only thing that I think we didn't get in this teaser a lot, is haven't really gotten to see David Cornsweet as Clark Kent a ton. You get a little peek of it early in the trailer. You get a shot of it there in a montage at the end, but haven't really heard a ton of dialogue or anything on that end yet. I'm guessing this might be Cat Grant here taking a selfie in front of the battle going on outside. I like this shot. It'll be nice to see how this is utilized in the movie. It reminds me of the shot from inside the spaceship and the way that those fight scenes were filmed in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It utilized some of these 360-degree turns and stuff, and I thought it was really cool, and I'm glad they're utilizing some of that here as well. See a preview of that in the trailer. And this looks like Clark and Lex face-to-face, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty cool to see there as Lex takes a sip out of his Luthor Court mug. Then we've seen this shot, of course, Superman getting healed by the sun. We've seen them living in what looks to be a train station potentially or something, going up into the air, kissing there. And we've seen that shot of him going up to the sky before as well. And, of course, the trailer ends with that beautiful rendition of the John Williams score. And then, of course, a nice little crypto tag there at the end of the trailer. So I like a lot of the things that we see here. And, I think it did a lot to sell me more on the movie. I think I've seen people that were skeptical even be sold a little bit more by this trailer. So I think this is a great first official trailer. Share more of my thoughts here, and then we'll wrap this one up. But the main other thought that I have here to add, in addition to what I just covered there with the breakdown, is that I really don't need to see any more footage before seeing this movie in July, personally. I don't know if they're planning on releasing any other trailers. If so, I really am it's going to take a lot for me not to watch them, but I'm going to try my best not to, because looking back on BVS, I think trailer 2 and trailer 3 arguably ruined some big plot points of the movie. And I'd be worried that would happen here if they go release a trailer 2 or a trailer 3, but maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, Warner Brothers has learned their lesson from past mistakes doing things like that, and this is maybe the only official trailer we'll get before July. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm going to try and stay away from any others. I'm sure we'll get different TV spots and things like that, but it's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm super hyped, guys. We're almost there. July's right upon us now, less than 2 months away from Superman and the start of the DCU, which we'll be covering extensively here on JC's Movies. So if you're a fan of the DCU and its inception here under James Gunn and the DC movies and the DC characters, be sure to subscribe here to the channel. Also, if you're a fan of comedy and horror movies, be covering those as well. Plenty of good reviews coming up as we're hitting the summer movie months. A lot of good movies coming out. I got some I need to cover in podcast form because I'm behind on them. So I'm going to do a little wrap up on, 3 or so other movies, have that coming out in the near future. And then a lot of fun summer movies coming up, including Superman. Let me know your thoughts about it. Are you excited for it? Did this trailer get you more excited? Did it sell you even more? Did it deter you even more? How are you feeling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate those interactions. Hit the like button before you head out. I really appreciate that. Just like I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.